Building muscle and maintaining muscle well into your 40s and 50s is simple, basic, and repeatable. It is not the 3 a.m., 4 a.m., 5 a.m. routine. It is not go hard or go home. It is not all the sacrifice that you have to do just to be fit. It only takes 2.35 hours for me, and yours can be less if Today, I'm going over my why I continue to strength train, why it is non-negotiable, and I show you the breakdown, how many days a week I work out, and the different workout that I perform on a weekly basis. This is the dashboard that I use to track all of my strength training workout, and I always have the why for everything that I do. Having a clear why before you start anything is important because as human beings, we are emotional. Sometimes we don't feel like doing something. But if you have the strong why, it can overcome not feeling like going to the gym, not feeling like working out today. That's why I always have the why before the task, because the why is the glue that hold everything together. The first one is strong core and legs to be a marathon ready every year with speed and endurance and injury free, avoiding aggravating my left heel and my torn meniscus in my right knee. Second is strong back to prevent upper back pain, back spasm, and herniated disc L4 and L5 flare-up. I know I talked a lot about herniated disc L4 and L5, but what I haven't talked about much is my upper back pain as well as back spasm. I used to have significant upper back pain when I was in my 20s and 30s, but because of my focus on building the back strength, that pretty much has been gone over a decade now. And back spasm continue to flare up here once in a while, but because my back is so strong, both upper and lower, my upper back pain, back spasm, as well as flare-up hernias L4 and L5 really is not a factor anymore. That's why I continue to work out to make sure that it continues to support my bone structure, that it continues to support my activities that I find joy in performing. Third is to maintain the muscle mass to help regulate blood sugar. And also, I had a history of insulin resistance. I want to make sure that doesn't creep back up again. And mental, intellectual, and physical wellness. Last but not least is to make sure that I am not burning my kids and grandkids now and well into my golden years, because I am physically, mentally, intellectually be able to support myself well into my golden years. Here's my weekly summary. I only strength train 3 days per week. Day 1 consists of back, shoulders, biceps, and forearms. And these are the different exercises that I perform and the number of sets. My sets are 2 sets instead of the typical 3 sets, and some are 3 sets, but most are 2 sets. And when I have order like this, it's a combo set where I perform the wide grip, lat pull down, and then go straight into the barbell bicep curls. And day 2 is my leg day on a separate day. I perform these exercises. And day 3, the third day, is my chest, my tricep. That takes about 32 minutes. And then I finish it off with the ab work, which is only 10 minutes. And I do these exercises all at once. I rest 2 minutes, and then I perform another set. So 2 sets per exercise. My rest is between 80 seconds and 90 seconds for all muscle group except my abs. My abs, I do rest 2 minutes between sets. For back, shoulders, bicep, and forearms, this is how long it took me for each of the days that I worked out. On average, it took me 44 minutes. The fastest out of the gym for back and shoulder day was 36 minutes, and the longest was 53 minutes. Here's a list of different exercises that I performed throughout that time frame. Notice early in the year, I had 3 different types of barbell bicep curls: the normal grip, the close grip, as well as the wide grip. And I performed 2 sets each. But since May 28, I stopped performing the narrow grip as well as the wide grip, and I replaced that with the forearm exercise, a dumbbell reverse wrist curl, as well as dumbbell wrist curl, and I performed 3 sets of those. Don't be afraid to conduct your own experiments. I understand there are different meta-analysis, there are different studies out there that tell you what is optimal, what is not optimal, what you shouldn't do in your 40s and 50s. But the best way to do it is to use those studies, those meta-analysis as guideline, not as absolute. Because I believe fitness is personal. That's why they call it personal fitness. As long as you have a good understanding your baseline where you're at and track your progress to see if your experiment is a change for the better or a change for the worse. But in order to see that, you have to allow time. So a 60-day, a 90-day, or 120-day experiment, and just make sure you track the progress. If it's going upward, you're doing the right change. If it's going downward, your change may not be effective. If they are not effective, make minor tweaks, not major tweak. Make one tweak, not multiple tweaks. And if you rinse and repeat, you can make your own fitness plan, your own strength training plan. And you can see that I don't follow the typical 3-set. Some exercise I do 3 sets, most exercise I do 2 sets. And I can still grow my muscle and maintain my muscle mass even at an old age of 48. My legs days, since April 30th, I've modified my exercises a little bit. I no longer do 1.5 RDL, I do the full RDL. And also, I start to introduce a single leg standing calf instead of using both legs. That's why I put average 50 minutes here. For my chest and tricep days, I have not done many experiments. I just pretty much do what I have been doing for so many years, even decades. Last but not least, I finished that day off with ab work, and I have experimented abs throughout the year. As you can see, I used to do bicycle, butterfly, leg raise, and plank, and I no longer did that, and I stopped doing that for the rest of 2026. And as the year progressed, I tried to reduce the number of exercises and still maintain the effectiveness. So now I'm down to only these exercises. You may or may not be surprised that I only spent 10 minutes on my ab routine. That's because you can do all the ab work that you see on social media. Those are just novice moves. Those are just for clicks and views. If you don't fix the most important, which is your nutrition and your sleep, you can do all the ab work. You're still not going to have it shown because you're going to have extra layer of fat. I also have different tabs that track different exercises, the progress every week. If you notice my squat, I've made improvement and then I scaled back down. I'm not afraid to scale down if I notice that my tendon and my ligament is not progressing as fast as my muscle, because our muscle do get stronger at a faster rate than our ligament and tendons. And if I feel that I'm putting a strain on the ligament and tendons, I will intentionally lower down the weight so that I allow my ligament and tendon to catch up to the muscle. There you have it. Building muscle and maintaining muscle well into your 40s and 50s is simple, basic, and repeatable. It is not the 3 a.m., 4 a.m., 5 a.m. routine. It is not go hard or go home. It is not all the sacrifice that you have to do just to be fit. It only takes 2.35 hours for me, and yours can be less if you don't train for a marathon. You just want to be able to have the muscle to perform daily function, to help regulate blood sugar, and if you don't have a history of injury like I have. Health and wellness, lean and fit, strong and healthy, is simple, basic, and repeatable. If you're not competing in bodybuilding competition, you don't have a hard deadline where you have to achieve a certain look, a certain goal like a movie star. Building muscle, maintaining muscle mass, it is that simple. Everything else is just marketing. We don't have a problem with optimal set, with optimal exercises. We have a problem with consistency. As long as you are consistent at strength training, 3 days per week minimum, you will achieve the result that you want to achieve. Because fitness is not from here to here. Fitness has no finish line. It is a lifelong commitment. Since it is a lifelong commitment, you want to find an exercise and an activity that you enjoy. This way you can consistently do it, not because you have to. that's because you want to.